All right. Well, how about I do this? I'm going to introduce myself, and as people are trickling in, if they're going to trickle in, and then I will, and then I'll get onto the meat of things. Here, we can turn off the slideshow for this part. 1 second, guys. Okay. Hey, how you doing? So my name is Russ Jones, and I have a attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, predominantly inattentive. I'm also diagnosed with depressive disorder, other specified, I love that one. That one's other specified. That is such a junk drawer of a diagnosis for depression. It's like, yeah, dude, it's a big shoulder shrug in the psychiatry world. They're like, I don't know, dude, you're sad, but I don't know. Just go into the junk drawer. It's something. Here's a pill for it. Let's see if that works. I don't know. Get better sleep. Drink more water. I don't know. Stop being so sad. So those are my two diagnoses. I didn't find out until later in life. So I was in the middle of getting a divorce, age 40. I'm 49 now, and we were in couples counseling, and the therapist was like, have you ever considered that you might have ADHD? And I was like, I'm here to save my marriage, dude. I don't know about this school spaghetti stuff. And then I went home and I Googled it, and turns out I went and got diagnosed. And yeah, it's, and then I went through all that stuff that I'm sure you guys know about, right? The hindsight, the reflecting on your past, the relief to know that you're not just a lazy piece of shit. That was a great one for me. But just to know that, oh, there's an answer to a lot of those things that I really beat myself up about, right? Like back in I dropped out of college, community college, after 1 year, aced the acting classes, just cakewalk, had a great time, was in all the plays, did a wonderful job, and all the studies, the math and the history and all that stuff, I slowly tanked. And I didn't realize that it was because I left the imposed structure of my family, like my mom and my dad, all that stuff. And I went to complete freedom, no structure. And I just left to my own devices, and I only knew interest. And so, which we're going to talk about soon. So that there was a lot of, that might've fed into some of the depression, maybe, is just realizing or not realizing, but thinking, having a poorly framed mental process of my past of like, oh, what could have been, if only I knew. But we can only go forwards. We can only move forwards in life. So I started podcasting about ADHD in about 4 years ago. And now it's doing great. It's top 2% globally. It's wonderful. And it's a great, I'm reaching a lot of people, and I'm hearing from a lot of people, and I'm realizing how much alike we all are. And so from that, I also began, schooling on ADHD coaching and training and learning how to help. And I've been helping adults with ADHD for the past 4 years as well. And it's just the most rewarding work. It's great when you find your purpose, man. And I believe I have. So here we go. So that's me. I'd love to know you. And let me just do this. What's up, Sherry? What's up? And hey, Aaron. All right, let's get the slideshow going, guys. We're going to learn a thing or two. Okay, so just to kick us off, I'm assuming we all know we have ADHD. And I'm assuming that you've done what I did, and you do the deep dive, you read all the science, and you learn from all the Ned Hallowells. You went and watched all the YouTube channels, and you got all educated. And I'm going to just allow that. I'm more of a simplifier. And so there's the expert. This is how I explained it. Experts are great at why are we the way we are. And we're the school spaghetti people. We are the unique ones. We know how to live inside that. And we have the experience of being inside what they're telling us is why we are the way that we are. So we have a very it's a very unique place to be, and we can help each other out a lot by being in that community. So we are interest-wired brains. That is who we are. And you probably heard this a number of times. We need things to be interesting, novel, or urgent, right? And I will take that a step further and say that all of those things are interest. We're interested because we're interested. We have interest because it's interesting. That's pretty much cut and dry, I believe. But then we have things like novelty, right? Novelty would be, oh, I got a new gadget. There's a new piece of technology, or I'm starting a new creative endeavor. I'm learning how to cross stitch, or look at all these acrylic paints. I have to have them all. Or like new experiences, like traveling to new places, trying new restaurants. There's something exciting about that. Video games, interactive, immersive things. And then like even at work, if things get joggled, if you get like a new kind of a task, that can be interesting. Novelty is all interesting. We're interested in all these things, right? And then there is a lot of interest in urgency. As we'll see, urgency is, okay, I'm going to be fired if I don't get the paperwork done on time, or I'm going to burn up and be dead if I don't leave this house because it's on fire. We are interested in keeping our job, and we are interested in survival. So just the big blanket over all of this is that it has to be interesting for us to move towards action. The normies of the world are importance driven. That's an important thing to do. I'm going to do it. Don't have to be interested in it. For us, there has to be a component of interest. And this leads me to, you ever hear this from people where they say, but I've seen you do this before. Like you've done this, you've cleaned the garage before. Why aren't you cleaning it today? I know that you know how to do it. Why aren't you doing it now? And I'd like to introduce you to a little phrase called situational variability. That's a big word, but let me just read the definition right off the screen here. Situational variability refers to the significant differences in how symptoms of ADHD manifest depending on the environment, task, or context. For adults with ADHD, their symptoms like inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity may not be consistently observable across all settings or situations. That means, in a nutshell, to me, I might be interested in it one day and it might not be interesting the other day. That's situational variability. Yeah, there was interest. I was able to empty the dishwasher. Today, I can't touch it. It has no value, no interest to me whatsoever. I can't do it. So the workaround here that we all think, right, is that, okay, so how do I make this interesting? And we'll get to that. But my best shot at that is, can you gamify it? Like this guy, like Lance here, who seems to be dancing while he's cleaning an already clean plate. Okay, Lance, nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying. Those dishes were already clean. But so can you gamify a thing? Can you give yourself a challenge around it? Could you listen to an audiobook, something that's entertaining, like a podcast or something? Can you dance like Lance here? Could you find a reward for yourself? If there's a way to make the thing interesting, go for the easy route. Go for the way to make that thing interesting. And then the pushback is, but what if I can't? What if there's no way to create interest? And then the answer to those is usually, okay, well, I'll put it off. Or I'll just go do something else. That's a big one for me. I'll just pick something else to do. Something else that I think is important, but I really should be doing this other thing. I could play video games, or we could just sit paralyzed, wondering what to do to get started, and slowly spiral into self-loathing. And oh my God, I'm such a lazy turd. But let's not do that. Let's figure out a different way. I'm going to introduce you guys to a chart that I made, which is how I view. This is how I view managing a life with ADHD in general for doing tasks and interest. We're not black and white. We're not. Things are always going to be different especially if you take into account situational variability. So if we look at it like to the degree that we're interested in a thing, is related to the amount of ADHD tools and hacks and tricks and solutions and strategies that we need to get started, right? So it makes absolute sense, right? If you look at the top of the pyramid, it's just a tiny little piece of real estate up there. We're hyper-focused. We don't need anything to get started. We almost need help stopping at that point. But there's no tips or tricks. We still have the same ADHD. We just don't need any help getting started. Now let's go down, and the task is insanely boring. It's the worst. There's no interest whatsoever. That is going to require a lot of tools, tons of strategies. You're just going to throw the kitchen sink at it and to get started. But you notice how it's not black and white. And because of situational variability, maybe it's a little bit up on the ladder. Maybe I only need one or two little tricks today, as opposed to the whole thing. So now I'm going to talk about the tools. Let's talk about these tools. What are the strategies and things that we can use? Specificity. Ooh, I do not like how that came out. Clean the house and clean the kitchen. Ooh, the graphics on that are not good to me. Redo. Okay, so clean the house. That's pretty vague, right? Could be overwhelming. Like, what room do I start in? How do I do this? It's going to take me forever. I'm never going to be able to finish. It becomes overwhelmed. We become paralyzed, right? Something that might be more specific. Clean the kitchen. I don't know about this god-awful kitchen. This looks like something that my kids maybe threw a party, and it was all apple juice and soda, and I'm not even going to clean it because I'm going to make them do it. However, for the sake of this webinar, let's pretend we did it. I put all the dishes on the floor on accident. Now I have to clean it up. If I can stay specific to the area, maybe that might make it more easy to get started. Easy point of entry. That actually gives me anxiety looking at that picture, by the way. That's crazy. So easy point of entry. What is the first physical action if you were to get started on this task? So a lot of times we have trouble getting started, right? And so we're like, but I don't know what's the thing to do or whatever. What is the easiest point of entry into that task? Would be like walk over and pick up that soda can, or go over and put that plate in the sink. It's a very specific single action. And I want to really, I have to make a speech here a little bit about some of this stuff. Maybe it felt remedial to me in the beginning when I was first learning about ADHD, but it's not. It's really, you're making a conscious effort at a movement. Like picture a normie. When a normie cleans this kitchen, the normie's going to go over to that soda can and pick it up and get going. They're just probably on autopilot, not thinking about it. All we're doing is saying, pick that can up, and we go and pick that can up. It's the easy point of entry. And if it's too tough, make it even easier. Walk toward the soda can. We're looking for momentum, and we're looking for getting started. And the next, the timer, man. If you listen to the podcast, I pray unto the timer gods. It is the best. What is the smallest amount of time that you can imagine yourself slogging through this shitty task? And the reason why timers are so amazing, and I think there might even be the dopamine in this, where you're anticipating there being an end. Picture a task that you would do, like you're cleaning a messy kitchen or something like that, and it feels like it's going to take all day. It feels like a monstrous process. But if you set a timer with the reward of quitting, even though we all know we're going to try to finish it, we're going to try to get to the end. If we forget all that and we say, I'm just going to put in 20 minutes, and when the timer goes off, I'm going to quit. There is something about that allows me to not think that I'm in a perpetual nightmare that will last forever. I am only 20 minutes away, so I can slog through it. And if 20 minutes is too much, 10 minutes. And if 10 minutes is too much, do 5 minutes. Seriously, we're looking at getting started. And a lot of times once we're started, there's inertia there. There was actually, this happened in our community, or I was struggling with a task. I think it was cleaning my bedroom or something. but I was probably in a depressive episode. Doing anything was really hard, and I just couldn't get started. And I was like, oh, okay, 20 minutes is too much. I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. 10 minutes was too much. 5, and I couldn't even do 5. I kept posting day one. And then one of the members was like, hey, try 2 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, 2 minutes is stupid. It's nothing. I tried it because I'm a guinea pig and I will lab rat anything. I will try anything. I set the timer for 2 minutes and I made my bed. And it takes me about 1.5 minutes to make my bed. I crushed it. But I did the thing. I got the dopamine from a completed task. And then I already had momentum so I could keep going. So sometimes it's about like, okay, I'm going to commit to 2 minutes, but my goal is 10 minutes. It is profound. And we're just in service, again, of getting started. If you can't get started and there's no interest, throw all of these tools at it and try it. It's a game changer. Okay, so a great way to remember this is ready, set, go. Set is S is specific. Be specific with what you're working on. E is easy point of entry. What's the first physical action that you need to move forward on the task? And T is timer. I have to look around my microphone. What is the smallest amount of time that you could envision putting towards this task? And then go. Push start on the timer and go. Just do that easy point of entry and just watch how you keep going. This is you keeping going, by the way. What are you, a fish? I don't know. This is all in service of us getting started. I said that about 1,000 times. But we're trying to nudge ourselves forward. This is a guy rolling down the mountain. I'm going to give you guys my perspective on goals here. We're looking for momentum, right? We get started. We're looking for that inertia to keep going. I wrote an ebook about this perspective, which it's monumental to me, but it's normie goals are, they're on the top of the mountain. We're going to climb the mountain. It's going to be intense. There's going to be adversity, blood, sweat, and tears, and you're going to work hard. And that's how it's good for you because it hurts. And then setbacks and get back up. And, and then you're going to be at the top of the mountain and you're going to look down and be like victory. That doesn't work for an ADHD brain. It absolutely does not work for my brain. I stay at the bottom of the mountain looking up and I'm like, there's so much to learn to be able to climb this mountain. I'm going to need ropes and harnesses. I'll probably need a parka. I should probably get some special shoes and maybe take a couple classes on mountain climbing. Yeah, I'll get to that. And then off I go. And I forget that I even had the goal. For an ADHDer, think about starting on top of the mountain and your goal is somewhere way off in the distance, way down below the cloud line. You don't really know exactly where, but it is down at the bottom. And all that it takes to get going is just like a nudge, just a boop. And then you start rolling down the mountain and use that momentum and you go and you go and you go. Maybe you hit a tree. Ouch. That really hurts. So you heal the wound, you stand up and you nudge yourself back down the mountain. That is so much easier of a perspective of like, oh, we can make things easy. Yes, we can absolutely make things easy. Oh, I can half-ass it. Yes, you can half-ass things. The saying that I have about half-assing is way better than no-assing, right? To prevent not doing a thing. Half-ass is way better. And odds are your ADHD half-ass is a normie whole ass. I'm almost positive. When you get going, you're probably unstoppable. I believe that. Here's another thing that you can do to help make it more likely that you will get started on your shitty task. Pre-schedule it. There's something about the future version of ourselves that is so willing and able to do stuff. Me tomorrow could crush the day. I could do everything. That's why you create these to-do lists that are like 500 things long because the future version of ourselves is a badass. It's just that when we get to future version, that when it becomes me, that's when I need the tools. But if you delegate to your future, and if you're clear and specific with the time, like pick at 4:30, I'm going to empty the dishwasher. At 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to take a stab at getting all this laundry off my bed. It's more likely to happen. When that time comes, it's more likely to happen, especially if you set a reminder, and especially if you ready, set, go it. Here's some more. Oh man, look, she's a member of a community, you guys. And that's why her desk is clean and her bookshelf is super nice and pretty. That's not my bookshelf. But externalizing accountability, declaring your intentions to other people will make it more likely to happen. If you do body doubling makes things more likely to happen. I have a buddy of mine who I do a walk with every Sunday. We go around the Rose Bowl. It's like a 3-mile walk around the golf course and the Rose Bowl. And I would not do that walk if it weren't for my friend. And he would not do it if it weren't for me. But we don't want to let each other down, right? So we're like, I'm going to show up for you, buddy. There's something about externalizing your accountability. And then I'm going to talk to you about our community here in a little bit. It makes things less of a slog. There's a saying that I love that I saw in a study one time. And it was just a study. It was just a quote. And it was, hills are not as steep when you walk them with a friend. Could not agree more. I believe wholeheartedly in that. Externalize your accountability. There you go. Here's the thing, link it. There's a book called Atomic Habits. Have you guys read that? He calls it habit stacking. Basically, can you add the shitty task to something that you're already doing? I love making pictures with AI because they're ridiculous. It's the guy only has plates and the dishwasher is too large. It won't close. It's not humanly possible, but that's neither here nor there. We can talk about that later in the Q&A. In the morning, when I was drinking coffee, I used to make coffee, and it would take a while for the coffee pot to make the coffee. While I was in the kitchen, I would empty the dishwasher, or I would load the dishwasher. I would take care of a thing while I waited. It's just adding, like while I'm here, I'm going to do the shitty thing because I'm just waiting on that. Is there any way that you can link your shitty task with something that you're already doing? That would be my question to you. And guys, keep it as easy as possible. Things have to be easy to get started. I remember, and if it's not, and if you still can't get started, make it easier. Keep making it easier until you can get started. There was a time, not to go back to my depression again, but like, no, you want to talk about my depression? I couldn't get out of bed, and I was doing all those hacks. Like, okay, all you got to do is get out of bed. And I couldn't get out of bed. And then I was like, okay, just got to put your feet on the floor. And I couldn't do that. And I was like, just get up, just sit up. And I couldn't sit up. And I was just like, what can I do? Holy shit, I'm paralyzed. And I was laying like this. Like I was laying like a freaking vampire, just sitting, just laying there like, why can't I get up? And I was like, I wonder if I could wiggle my fingers. And I did that. And I literally got right up and out of bed. That was the kickstart of my engine. So it's just keep going back, keep dialing it down. Some days it's going to be easy. Some days it's going to be really fucking hard. And what can you do to make it easier? That is my question to you. And then that brings us to me. I'm going to summarize all this, but I want to tell you one way that makes all this stuff easier. And that is being a part of a community. This is my big pitch about the community. Because it's such a big deal. And then I'm going to summarize and then we'll get to the Q&A. But being a member of a community has been the biggest game changer for me in my own personal ADHD journey. There is something about a like-minded group of people that offers no judgment, no shame. And I've been a part of other communities, and there's a lot of emotional support going on in there, a lot of relatability, which I think is great. But where I find these things lacking is in the doing of the thing. Like, I can relate to you all day long, but how am I going to fucking do my laundry? How am I going to do these things that suck? And being a part of a community of people has helped me do that. So I built this particular community based around that. Emotional support literally just comes with the package. You don't even have to advertise it. We are naturally empathic or empathetic. We just naturally give a shit about each other. ADHDers, because we all know the struggle already. So we can fail at a thing. We can have a big idea and it doesn't work out. And none of us are going to roll our eyes. None of us are going to say, oh, but another big thing didn't work out. Big shocker. What's your next big idea that you're not going to finish? Like, there's none of that bullshit that comes with a lot of the normies. You know, it's all about like, okay, let's get in there and do it. And we do it with daily accountability, which is huge. We do it with, we have a member that just broke 200 days in a row doing the thing that she said she was going to do. That's unheard of, you guys. That's an ADHDer. We do weekly goal setting. We have a couple of monthly Zoom chats every month just to be like, what's the goal this month? What are we going to want to get done? And then halfway through the month, like, hey, remember what you said you're going to do? Oh, yeah, just a reminder, we have goals. Let's go for them. And then it's all like, there's resources galore in there. There's like all the videos and the webinars that I ever do. And any paid workshop, if I do those, I go into the community for free. But anyways, this is an amazing place and I want you to be a part of it. So if you guys want to join, there's here, let me throw this up here. There's I think that should be up there. If you want to sign up for it, just make sure you use this. It's the coupon code. It says webinar 20. Because if you do that, you'll get I think it's $20 off the first installment of the subscription. So just do that. And I think it goes away Sunday because I'm doing the webinar this week. And then the coupon will go away on Sunday. So it's just awesome. And it's no risk, guys. If you get your accountability, try it out for 7 days. If you don't like it, just DM me or message me and I'll give you your money back. Because I get it. It's not for everybody. But it is. It is for everybody. It kind of is. Okay, so let's summarize really quick, you guys. Gamify, if you can. If there's no interest, can you make it interesting? Can you whip up a batch of interest? If so, that's your go-to, man. That's probably the easiest way to get through all this stuff. Gamify it. Remember the ready, set, go. Set is specificity, easy point of entry, and timers. Make this stuff more likely to happen. Pre-schedule it, use a specific time, and hit your tools at that time. Externalize your accountability. Join our community. Join a community. Enlist your friends that are that get it. Try habit stacking, link it up, and keep it easy. Keep it very easy, please. And that's that, you guys. That's it. Now it's the fun part. I hope this was helpful, by the way. So if you guys have any questions about this, hit me up. Hit me up. Let me remove the offer and the slideshow. And Sharon Carroll, I see that you're here. Continuous movement is better than delayed perfection. I love that. That's a really cool quote, Sharon. Just anything that, like, we're just all in service of the movement, right? How do we keep nudging ourselves forward? That is such a big deal. I find it really helpful just in general. Anytime I am struggling on a thing that I know that I want to do and I'm not able to do it, sitting back and just taking a breath and going, okay, it's what tool can I apply right now? And I gamify. I created a game. In the community, there's a couple of card games that I've created. The first is Goal Digger, which is a 1 year long card game to achieve your goals. But the second one is I haven't really released it yet, but it's called Goal Getter. I literally put chores on, like, empty the dishwasher, clean out a cupboard. I have a deck of chores, tasks that fucking suck, that I hate. And I basically shuffle them up and I face down, I pick 6 of them. And then I set the timer for 20 minutes and I randomly will pick one over and I'm like, okay, it's empty the dishwasher. Okay. And I go and empty the dishwasher. As soon as I'm done, I flip the next card. That is such a repeated hit of dopamine because there's the anticipation of the task. Oh, I wonder what it's going to be. There's your dopamine right there. There's the gratification for completing a task. I finished a thing. I rule. Then back to flipping it over another one and not knowing what it is. And there's something to that helps because I don't want to go, oh, I'm going to do the dishes and then I'm going to do vacuum and then I'm going to do this. So gamification it's a big one. I have a big, huge task that is surrounded by financial PTSD, doing several years of tax return catch up. We paid taxes based on estimates, but have not filed the return. So boring and painful. Yeah. Are you able to chunk at it? Because I remember doing my taxes and stuff, and finances in general. I'm with you. Like it is painful for me, and it's awful. Are you able to chunk it in terms of I'm just going to dedicate an hour and then I'm going to do something really, really, really fun after the hour to reward myself for putting in the time? That is kind of what I would do. Cause I remember there was a long time ago, I had to deal with the government for some financial stuff and I had to fill out like paperwork galore on everything and all things. And I pleaded with the people on the phone. I was like, I have ADHD. This is so hard for me. Please be patient. Please be helpful. Please be this. But I have to do things in incremental time. I can't go until I'm finished with that stuff. Sherry's random scraps of paper that I usually use. Did that help answer? How do I motivate myself? Okay. This is actually a really good question because we're all motivated to do stuff in our head, but we're not motivated to do stuff. This is what this whole entire webinar was for, is like, what is a situation that you have that you are refusing to get started on? And how can you get started on it knowing full well that you're not motivated to do it? And if you can dial it all the way back to you just have to get started, and I don't want to say you just, because I fucking hate that. It works for me to do all the things that I need to do in order to get started. Once I'm started, as long as there's an end time, as long as I have an out, that can help me get the momentum to get going. And to be really specific, like, so in terms of like tax type stuff, it wouldn't be, I'm going to do all these tax forms or I'm going to do all this tax stuff. It would be, I'm looking at my checking account balance from this month to this month. It's a very, very, very specific aspect of the thing that you're doing. And you're only doing that for a certain amount of time. I have used one notebook, but I'm transitioning to multiple: work, personal journal, and personal project sketches. Having it all in one place was too risky. Risk crossing the street. Really? You can't. You've got giant. What are they? Blasters? The Ghostbusters blasters? That's very interesting. I'm be super curious as how effective that is. You're in the process of transitioning, or you have transitioned. That's interesting. I know Rachel James here has me on Notion. I learned how to use Notion. I used to hate Notion, but it is. I'm going through the learning curve of it. I'm a bullet journal guy, and I would even put everything in that bullet journal: work, personal project, sketches. I don't know. What do you do, Aaron? You're doing sketches? That would be different. That would be a little bit different. You know what I use this for work only, like, so for my one-on-one clients, I use a Remarkable tablet, because you can have It's one notebook. Where is I don't know where I put it. I probably lost it. I have it for a notebook for every client in the Remarkable tablet. So for that, I think that's a Remarkable tablet's pretty badass. It's a stupid lot of money though. Regrets. I've impulsively spent money a time or two. Oh, wow. I'm super interested in what's going on in your world. Like if somebody found out you had a personal journal at a work meeting, like, get Aaron out of here. Yeah, who uses Notion on here? Anybody besides you, Rachel? I remember asking Rachel one time, "Hey, I want to do this, and this, and what do you do for that?" And she's like, "You're not gonna want to hear it." And I would always know that she was gonna say, "I use Notion." I hate Notion, the learning curve, but I'm learning, and it's pretty exciting now. Sherry, random scraps of paper that I usually lose. I challenge you. You know you're getting a challenge now. That's not good. That's not let's not say not good. It could be good. You could have a system in place for it. I don't know. Who am I to say good and not good? I apologize. I would say, what if you got a notebook? What if you got one place to capture all your ideas and thoughts? Here's the reason why it worked for me, the bullet journal, is because I had a notebook for everything. I was who Aaron is becoming right now. That's why I'm watching Aaron. Let's see how it works. But like I would lose track of things. I'd be like, I wrote a phone number down somewhere and I don't know where I wrote it down. So I would look into all the notebooks and I would be flipping through the pages. But the bullet journal method, the methodology of it is where you index and it's like the index is in the beginning and you're slowly filling out the index as the pages go on. So now like let's say I'm tracking my blood pressure. I don't have to go look for the piece of paper where I'm tracking my blood pressure. I go into my bullet journal, first page, I look for the word blood pressure. Oh, it's on page 55 and 56. And I'm there. That has been astronomically. It was just think about the amount of time that you save in overwhelm, anxiety, and just looking for things. That was huge for me. Big time. Oh, body doubling. Yeah, Sharon. Sorry, Aaron. Yeah, body doubling. We do it in the community. It's like a 24/7 body doubling room, but there's actually websites for it, like Focus Mate and other places. It's literally an accountability buddy, really. Like, so you would go onto the body doubling room. I would go in. It's like a Zoom room, and there we both are. And for them to be effective, it's better to be on mute, but you could be like just, hey, Aaron, I'm going to spend 45 minutes working on my finances. And you're like, I'm going to spend 45 minutes doing sketches. We both have a task that we're working on and we're here on camera. And then we start the timer, mute ourselves, and we work. And there's just something about the fact that you're working together at the same time. Oh my God, did you see that? That's turmeric. It looks like I have jaundice. I made a tea and there was grated turmeric in it. Guys, don't judge me. Don't judge me. It's a health tea. I needed it. Does that clear up body doubling? It's really, I only recently got into it and instituted a 24/7 body doubling room in the ADHD Big Brother community. I don't know, maybe 4 months ago. And it's huge. You do the thing that you said you're going to do when you show up. And it's like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go into a body doubling room and then I'm just going to hang out and not do anything. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, Sharon, absolutely. That you can work on one area of deductions instead of feeling like the whole thing is hanging over me. Oh my God, yeah. Big time. Oh, there's so much like overwhelm and vagueness to like have to do the whole thing. Or the whole thing has to be done. Oh, God. Yeah, I feel that big time. Big time. I was just going to throw Notion out. Of course you were, Rachel. Of course you were going to throw Notion out. Of course you were going to promote. Hey, maybe we should get I'd say there's a coupon code for Notion, but Notion's free. We can all get it. I have it. I'm tempted to screen share, but I'm not gonna. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. God, I just really love the Q&A, you guys. This is literally, so to me, this is the biggest pitch about community that there is we're all kind of hanging out, and ideally we're shooting the shit. I use a notebook. I relate to you. I'm doing this. This gives me anxiety. That like we talk to each other, and there's no better help than our own kind. Like, here's what worked for me. Here's what works for you. Here's like, think about this. This is how I picture community too. It's like the you're going to a party, or no, it's not a party because it's all about getting help. The you're going to a meeting. And you've got your one dumb idea about how to fix a thing, that whatever. I guess I got an idea. And you go to this place and somebody asks a question and you give them your dumb idea. Turns out it was a really great idea for this other person over here. But then you ask a question. You're like, I need help on this one thing. And you get 10 dumb ideas from 10 people. And like, oh, one of those, try one of those and see if it works. That's what's so... the potential of a group of ADHDers helping ADHDers, in my mind, that is like my biggest dream of this whole thing, is we just are all lifting each other up. And, some ideas, like I give an idea to Sharon, and Sharon's like, oh, the deduction thing, that works. Okay, so she tries that idea. Maybe it works for a week, and then it stops working. Okay, now what? It doesn't mean that, well, Sharon can't make anything work. It just means need a new idea. That one burned out. That one stopped functioning the way it's supposed to function. We need more interest. We need more novelty. We need whatever. It's being around each other and just keeping the ideas flowing. It's not like we're not idea factories. They will just keep them coming, man. This is my favorite thing to do. So helping out however I can, and you guys feel free to email me if you have questions, follow up, and I'll email you right back. No problem. And outside of that, I hope I see you guys inside the community. All right. Thank you so much for joining, you guys. This has been super fun for me. And I'll wrap her up.